Our journey begins with a step back in time to our ancient ancestors and their crucial relationship with meat. Picture a time where survival was the only game in town, and every calorie and nutrient mattered. Meat, packed with calories and essential nutrients, was a game changer in this harsh environment. It wasn't just about filling bellies, it was about fueling the development of our most powerful asset, our brains. You see, meat is a rich source of nutrients that were critical to our brain development. Nutrients like iron, zinc and B vitamins, which are more readily available in meat than in plant-based foods, played a significant role in the cognitive evolution of our species. The dense caloric content of meat also provided the energy needed to fuel our growing brains. But it wasn't just about the nutrients. Hunting for meat was a complex activity that required planning, cooperation, and the use of tools. This process in itself may have contributed to our cognitive development. As our ancestors became more efficient hunters, they secured more meat, which in turn supported further brain growth. Fast forward to today and we can see remnants of this evolutionary history in our modern diets. Our bodies still crave those nutrients that were so crucial to our survival and development. This might explain why many of us still have a preference for meat. We are, after all, products of our evolutionary past. But let's not get carried away. While our evolutionary history with meat is fascinating, it's important to remember that it's just one piece of the puzzle. Our dietary choices are influenced by a complex interplay of factors, including culture, health considerations, taste preferences, environmental factors, and ethical concerns. So our love for meat might just be in our DNA, but that's not the whole picture. As we move forward on this journey, we'll explore the other factors that shape our dietary choices, from cultural influences to health considerations, taste preferences, and more. Stay tuned because our exploration of meat versus vegetables is just getting started. Next, we navigate the rich tapestry of our diverse cultures and their influence on our diets. Culture, as we know, is a powerful force that shapes our lives in myriad ways, and our food choices are no exception. Different cultures around the world have unique traditions and regional cuisines that heavily influence what we eat. Take a moment to reflect on the traditional dishes of your own culture. You'll likely find that they carry a unique blend of ingredients that tell a story about your heritage and the resources that were historically available to your ancestors. In many cultures, meat plays a central role in traditional dishes. For instance, in a Brazilian churrasco, or barbecue, an array of succulent meats is the star of the show, reflecting a long history of cattle ranching in the region. Similarly, many dishes in Korean cuisine prominently feature beef or pork, linking back to the country's agricultural past. On the other hand, some cultures lean heavily towards vegetable-rich diets. Mediterranean cuisine, for example, is renowned for its focus on fresh fruits, vegetables, legumes and olive oil, with meat often playing a supporting role rather than taking center stage. Similarly, traditional Indian cuisine is known for its diverse plant-based dishes, stemming from religious beliefs and agricultural abundance. But it's not just about the ingredients themselves. The way food is prepared and served, the communal rituals around eating, even the symbolism attached to certain foods, all these cultural elements play a part in shaping our dietary preferences. So whether you're tucking into a crisp salad, savoring a juicy steak, or enjoying a hearty vegetable curry, remember that these are not just personal preferences. They're part of a larger narrative, a narrative woven together by the threads of culture, tradition, and history. From our ancestors to our cultures, these factors shape our food preferences. But there's more to the story. Health, an essential factor that influences our choice of food. When it comes to meat, it's a powerhouse of protein and essential nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. These nutrients are vital for maintaining good health, especially for growth, development, and immune function. However, it's not all rosy. Consuming too much meat, particularly the processed variety, has been linked to increased risks of heart disease, certain types of cancer, and other health issues. It's also worth noting that the fat content in meat, especially saturated fat, can contribute to high cholesterol levels and other health concerns. Now let's shift our gaze to the leafy side of the table. Vegetables, fruits, legumes and whole grains, the mainstays of a plant-based diet, are packed with fiber, vitamins, minerals and antioxidants. These plant powerhouses can promote heart health, maintain healthy weight, and may even help prevent chronic diseases. But it's not as simple as saying one is better than the other. Each person's dietary needs and health conditions are unique. For example, certain individuals may need a higher intake of protein due to their physical activity levels, while others may need to limit their intake of certain nutrients due to health conditions. So, it all boils down to balance. A balanced diet that includes a variety of foods, whether from animal or plant sources, can help ensure we get a wide range of nutrients our bodies need. It's also about moderation. Enjoying meat in moderation and pairing it with a bounty of vegetables can be a part of a healthy and satisfying diet. Of course, personal health is just one piece of the puzzle. Other factors such as food availability, personal preferences, cultural traditions, and ethical considerations also play a significant role in our food choices. Health considerations can greatly influence our food choices. But what about the way our food tastes? Now we delve into the world of flavors, textures, and the science behind it. Taste is a fascinating and complex experience shaped by our senses and even our memories. When it comes to meat, many people find its savory taste, also known as umami, utterly irresistible. This fifth taste, alongside sweet, sour, salty, and bitter, is what gives meat its depth and richness. Umami is also present in some vegetables like mushrooms and tomatoes, but it's often more pronounced in meat due to the presence of amino acids and nucleotides. Now, let's talk about the texture. The texture of food can greatly influence our eating experience. Meat, for instance, has a unique texture that's hard to replicate. The way it feels when we chew it, the juiciness, the way it can be tender or chewy, all contribute to why many people love eating meat. But what about vegetables? Can they compete with the savory allure and satisfying texture of meat? Absolutely. Vegetables offer a wide spectrum of flavors and textures that can be just as enjoyable, if not more so, than meat. Crunchy carrots, creamy avocados, tender asparagus, sweet bell peppers, the list goes on. Moreover, the way we prepare and cook vegetables can greatly enhance their taste. Roasting, for instance, can bring out the natural sweetness in vegetables, while grilling can give them a smoky, robust flavor. Spices and herbs can also elevate the taste of vegetables, making them absolutely tantalizing. The science of taste tells us that our preferences are influenced by a combination of genetic, environmental, and cultural factors. Some people might have a genetic predisposition to prefer sweet or salty tastes, while others might develop a preference for certain foods because of their cultural background or personal experiences. Taste is a major factor, but it's not the only one. Let's explore the ethical and environmental implications of our food choices. Environmental sustainability and ethical concerns about animal welfare are reshaping the way we think about food. Let's dive into how these factors are influencing our dietary choices. Firstly, the environmental footprint of our food choices is becoming increasingly apparent. The meat industry, particularly beef production, is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and water pollution. On the other hand, plant-based foods generally have a much smaller environmental footprint. For example, producing a pound of lentils requires significantly less water and emits fewer greenhouse gases than producing a pound of beef. Secondly, ethical concerns about animal welfare are also playing a big role. Many people are uncomfortable with the practices of industrial animal farming, where animals are often kept in crowded and unsanitary conditions. This discomfort has led to a growing interest in plant-based diets, with more people choosing to reduce their meat intake or go completely vegetarian or vegan. But what does this switch mean? Well, it's leading to an interesting shift in our food landscape. On one hand, we're seeing more plant-based alternatives to traditional meat products. These aren't just tofu and tempeh, but innovative products like plant-based burgers that mimic the taste and texture of meat. On the other hand, we're also seeing efforts to improve animal welfare standards in farming. This includes free-range and organic farming practices where animals are given more space and better living conditions. However, it's important to remember that not all plant-based foods are created equal. Some highly processed plant foods can have their own environmental and health drawbacks. So, it's not just about choosing plant over meat, but making informed choices about the kind of foods we consume. These factors are making a huge impact, but what does the future hold? As we continue to grapple with these issues, it's clear that our food choices will play a crucial role in shaping not just our health, but also the health of our planet and its inhabitants. Finally, let's gaze into the crystal ball and look at the future of our food landscape. We're on the cusp of a food revolution, and it's all thanks to the emergence of plant-based alternatives to meat. These aren't your grandmother's veggie burgers. We're talking about scientifically developed, taste-tested, plant-based proteins that mimic the taste, texture, and even the sizzle of meat. But why the sudden shift towards plant-based alternatives? Well, there are a few key reasons. For starters, these alternatives offer a sustainable solution to meet the world's growing demand for protein. They require less land, less water, and produce fewer greenhouse gas emissions compared to traditional livestock farming. Then there's the health aspect. Plant-based alternatives are designed to deliver the same level of protein and essential nutrients as meat, but with less saturated fat and no cholesterol. This makes them an attractive option for health-conscious individuals looking to reduce their meat intake. And let's not forget about taste. Advances in food science mean these plant-based alternatives can now deliver a taste and texture that's remarkably similar to meat. They're designed to appeal not just to vegetarians and vegans, but to meat eaters as well. However, it's important to note that while these alternatives are making waves, they're not going to replace traditional meat entirely, at least not in the foreseeable future. People's dietary choices are influenced by a complex interplay of factors: cultural traditions, personal health, ethical beliefs, and yes, taste preferences. So whether you're a staunch carnivore, a dedicated herbivore, or somewhere in between, there's one thing we can all agree on. The future of food is looking more diverse, more sustainable, and more delicious than ever. Whether you're a meat lover or a veggie enthusiast, remember the choice is yours. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the world of dietary preferences.